Hey, welcome back, or maybe welcome for the first time. Either way, I'm really glad you're here. This is the Nikko Daze Show, a space where we slow down, sit with our thoughts, and talk about the things we don't always say out loud. The quiet struggles, the heavy feelings, the questions that don't always have easy answers. And if we haven't met before, hi, I'm Nikko, and I'll be here with you through these conversations. For today's episode, we're talking about something quiet, but deeply painful. We reconnected, but it doesn't feel the same anymore. If you've ever missed someone who's still technically in your life, if you've ever reconnected with a friend you used to be so close to, only to realize things don't feel the same anymore, this episode is for you. Welcome to the Daze. I want to start with a feeling that a lot of people understand but rarely talk about. You reconnect with someone who used to mean so much to you. A best friend, someone you talked to every day, someone who once knew every version of you. And at first it feels exciting. You start talking again. Maybe you meet up. Maybe you laugh about old memories. Maybe for a moment it feels like things are going back to how they used to be. But then slowly, you notice it. Something feels different. The conversations don't flow the same way anymore. The comfort feels unfamiliar. The connection that once felt effortless now feels forced sometimes. And no one really talks about how painful that can be. Because the hardest part is that nobody necessarily did anything wrong. People just changed. Life happened. Time passed. And suddenly, you're sitting across from someone who used to feel like home, wondering why it doesn't feel that way anymore. So for today's episode, we're talking about outgrowing friendships, about reconnecting with people from your past and realizing the connection isn't the same, about grieving relationships that didn't fully end, but also don't feel alive in the same way anymore. Because sometimes one of the hardest things to accept is this: you can still care about someone deeply and still feel the distance between who you both used to be. So let's talk about it. All right, before we go deeper into this is your Daze check-in. I just want you to pause for a moment, take a breath, and gently ask yourself this. Have you ever missed a version of someone more than the person they are now? That's a painful question, because sometimes when we reconnect with people from our past, we expect the same comfort, the same closeness, the same feeling we once had with them. But people change, and so do we. And even when the love or care is still there, the connection can still feel different. Maybe you noticed the silence more this time. Maybe the conversations felt shorter. Maybe you realized you no longer tell each other everything the way you used to. Or maybe you both tried so hard to reconnect, but something still felt distant. And that can create a strange kind of grief, because technically, the person is still there. But the relationship you once had with them doesn't fully exist in the same way anymore. Just sit with that feeling for a moment. No need to judge it. No need to force yourself to move on from it immediately. Just acknowledge it. Now, let's slow down together. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Take a deep breath in through your nose and slowly breathe out. Again, inhale deeply and exhale slowly. One more time. Inhale and exhale. As you breathe, remind yourself of this. Not every relationship is meant to stay exactly the same forever. Some connections change with time. Some become quieter. Some drift naturally. And sometimes, people who were once deeply connected grow into different versions of themselves. That doesn't erase what the friendship meant. It doesn't make the memories fake. It just means life moved forward. And maybe part of healing is learning how to appreciate what a friendship was, without forcing it to become what it used to be. So for now, just breathe. You are allowed to feel sad about it. You are allowed to miss people. And you are allowed to accept that some connections change, even when nobody wanted them to. So let's talk about this. That strange feeling of reconnecting with someone you once considered one of the closest people in your life, only to realize the connection doesn't feel the same anymore. Because honestly, this kind of pain is difficult to explain. Nothing dramatic happened. There was no huge fight, no clear ending, and maybe that's why it hurts so much. Because there's no obvious reason for the distance. It just appeared slowly over time. Life got busy, people changed, priorities shifted, and one day, you realize you no longer know each other the way you used to. The inside jokes don't land the same. The conversations take more effort. The comfort feels unfamiliar, and sometimes both of you can feel it, but neither of you says it out loud. I think one of the hardest parts about growing up is realizing that not every friendship is built to grow in the same direction forever. Some people are deeply connected during one season of your life and slowly become distant in another, not because the friendship was fake, not because the memories meant nothing, but because people evolve, and sometimes they evolve differently. That can be painful to accept because we often hold on to the idea that meaningful friendships are supposed to stay exactly the same forever. But real life doesn't always work that way. Sometimes two people genuinely care about each other and still drift apart emotionally. And when you reconnect, there's this quiet pressure to recreate what once existed. You want the same closeness back, the same energy, the same comfort. But the more you force it, the more obvious it becomes that both of you are no longer the same people you once were. And honestly, that realization can feel like grief, because you're not only missing the friendship, you're also missing the version of yourself that existed during that time. The version of you that laughed differently, trusted differently, lived differently. That's why reconnecting with old friends can sometimes feel comforting and heartbreaking at the same time. You're revisiting memories while also realizing time has already changed both of you. And I think part of maturity is learning that change does not automatically ruin the meaning of a relationship. A friendship can still be real even if it no longer feels the same. A person can still matter to you even if they no longer play the same role in your life. Not every connection is meant to stay intense forever. Some relationships become memories. Some become occasional conversations. Some become people you will always care about from a distance. And that's painful, but also human. Because sometimes, loving people also means accepting that certain versions of your relationship with them already belonged to a different chapter of your life. Let's make this real for a moment. Imagine reconnecting with a friend you once talked to every single day. Back then, everything felt easy. You didn't have to think too much about conversations. You could talk for hours. You knew each other's problems, routines, dreams, even the smallest details about each other's lives. Then life happened. Maybe school changed things. Maybe work got busy. Maybe both of you slowly drifted without even realizing it. Months pass, maybe even years, and one day you reconnect. At first, it feels exciting. You're happy to hear from them again. You meet up, laugh about old memories, talk about how much life has changed, and for a moment, it almost feels like old times again. But after that meeting, something feels different. The conversations slowly fade again. Replies become shorter. The energy feels unfamiliar, and deep down you realize you've both changed more than you expected. That realization can hurt, because part of you wanted proof that some things never change. But sometimes people reconnect only to realize they no longer fit into each other's lives the same way they used to. And that's not always anyone's fault. So what do you do with that feeling? First, stop blaming yourself for the distance. Not every friendship ends because someone failed. Sometimes people simply grow in different directions. Second, stop forcing old versions of relationships to come back exactly the same. Because the more pressure you put on recreating the past, the harder it becomes to appreciate what still exists in the present. And lastly, allow yourself to appreciate the friendship for what it was, instead of only mourning what it no longer is. Because even if the connection changed, it still mattered. It still shaped you. It still gave you memories, comfort, and moments that were real at the time. And sometimes, healing looks like accepting that certain people were meant for a specific chapter of your life, not necessarily the entire story. Before we end this episode, I want to leave you with a journal prompt. something honest to reflect on after this conversation. Here it is. Am I missing the person or the version of the relationship we once had? Take your time with that question, because sometimes what hurts the most isn't just the distance between you and someone else. It's the realization that a certain version of your life no longer exists the same way anymore. The routines changed, the closeness changed, the comfort changed, and maybe a part of you has been trying to hold on to something that already belongs to the past. So ask yourself this too. Have I been trying to reconnect with who they used to be instead of accepting who they are now? And another important question: can I appreciate what the friendship meant to me without forcing it to become what it once was? Because not every meaningful relationship is meant to stay the same forever, and that doesn't erase its value. Sometimes people are part of your life for a specific season. Sometimes they help shape you, comfort you, and grow with you for a period of time. And then life naturally changes the connection. That can hurt, but it can also teach you how to let go with love instead of resentment. So if you can, write your thoughts down. Be honest with yourself, not to reopen old wounds, but to better understand what you're truly grieving. Because sometimes closure begins when we stop trying to recreate the past and start accepting that people, friendships, and even we ourselves change with time. And before we end this episode, I just want to remind you of something. Not every friendship is meant to stay the same forever, and that doesn't mean it failed. Some people are part of your life during specific seasons. They help shape you, comfort you, and become part of memories that will always matter to you. But sometimes, growing up also means accepting that people change. You change, life changes, and even when the love or care is still there, the connection can still feel different. That's painful, but it's also human. So if you've been grieving a friendship that never fully ended, if you've been struggling with the sadness of reconnecting with someone who no longer feels the same, please be gentle with yourself. You're allowed to miss people. You're allowed to miss old versions of relationships. And you're allowed to move forward without hating someone for changing. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear this too. Someone who's quietly holding on to memories that don't feel the same anymore. And if you want to stay connected with the show, follow the Nikko Daze Show on Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. That's where we continue these conversations and grow this space together. Take a moment after this episode. Sit with the journal prompt. Reflect on the people, memories, and versions of yourself you've been holding on to. And remind yourself that not every connection has to stay the same to have been real. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next episode. See you in the days